Hello, my lovely soul sisters. Welcome to a brand new episode. Today, I'm here showing up fully and completely as myself. And I have a lot of things swirling around my mind and in my body that I really just feel so called to share with you. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. Please, if you haven't already, head over to iTunes and leave Awaken You with Shelly Bond a 5-star rating and review. It helps this show grow because that's why we're here. We're here to grow. I love you and I'm so grateful for you. Welcome to my show where we talk about love, where we allow ourselves joy and compassion, where we are open to our authenticity, where speaking our truth is our birthright and we claim our abundance, our prosperity. Welcome here to this space where I share my love for healing, my love for connecting with women on a soul level, because I believe that we all have a purpose on this planet, and I am here to help you awaken that aspect of yourself. I am here to help you claim your inner power of safety and trust and creativity and confidence and love and healing and speaking your truth and intuition and connecting with those around you. Here and now is this space that I have created to join women together. I love you and I'm so grateful for you. May we lead with love and light, joy and compassion, my beautiful soul sisters. Hello, my beautifuls. How are you this week? How is your mind? How is your body? How is your spirit? Have you been taking moments to do that? To just breathe and show up? Isn't it funny how some weeks just like fly by and you're like, what happened? How did that even happen? And then other weeks just drag on. I feel like I'm kind of somewhere in the middle of like flying and dragging, and my boys have been sick. Actually, Milo is better and he is back at school, but I have Jack and Junie home and I'm dealing with little snuffy sicknesses, head colds, and just reminding myself of what it was like when I was homeschooling. And I homeschooled my kids for 2 years, if you didn't know this about me. And we originally did it because of COVID and the masks and all the things, and it felt right. And I'm so grateful for all the time with my kids. And it was all over the place. I had days where I felt like, wow, I could do this forever. Like I remember having that thought of thinking, I could totally homeschool my kids forever. And then I remember having days like thinking, what the fuck am I doing? I can't do this. I'm not qualified to do this. I don't have patience. And then I just kept showing up. And then I remember at the end of last summer, we completely intended on homeschooling again. And then my sisters put their kiddos in a school, in more of like a charter school that is not like streamlined in the public schools. And it just like got all these thoughts in my mind thinking, maybe that could be good for them. Like a kid like Milo, he's my 10-year-old and he's so extroverted and just so busy, and he always wants me to be entertaining him and taking him. And I feel like for him, school is awesome because school has such an awesome schedule and it keeps him on track and it's always keeping him busy. And I am not such a busy goer and doer. And yeah, with homeschool, we would have a set day, but we would only do work for like 3 to 4 hours. And then it's like, go do you, go play. And he even would struggle with that. Like he turns into one of those kids that's like, I'm so bored. And I really just feel like as a parent, it's so important for us to allow our children to feel what it feels like to be bored. Even as just us now, what does it feel like to be bored? And I see this in my husband so much, that all of the addictions, and I'm sure I have them too, of coming home from work and being on the smartphone or watching TV, and just we're always filling ourselves up, and we don't just allow ourselves to sit and be, to just sit and watch the sky, or to go outside and just be. We are these human beings, but we have been so trained to be these human doings that we're always doing. And in a way, that's why I think, I think of school, mainstream school is helpful, but then I think that it's not helpful because it's not training our kids how to just be. Like maybe if they had a course that was like mindfulness 101, maybe some schools have that. If your school has that, let me know. And it's so interesting. I live in such a small town, and there is only one source of schooling for your kids to go to, which I think is such crap. And I just really feel like it's not, I don't want to, it's not like being a victim by saying it's not fair, but I feel like that options, that people need to have options to plug their children in. And my daughter actually is, it's funny I say the word options, she is in this program called Options. It's a homeschool enrichment program, and it's beautiful, and it's at the YMCA of the Rockies. And you drive to the YMCA, and it's this huge, it almost reminds me of like a college campus. It's this huge, beautiful open space, but even better because it's in the mountains and it's magical and naturey, and they do have a lot of fun things, but the kids are like going to be outside. One of the instructors of this program said, "We will be outside unless there is thunder. If there's thunder, that's the only weather we will come inside for. But we will be outside, so make sure you are dressing your children." And my kiddos all did Waldorf. It was a Waldorf inspired school, and I loved it at the time. It was such a great space, this nurture and nature. If you ever heard about Waldorf education, just it's a very different, gentle type of learning, like based on German teachings. And at the time, I loved the school. And then kind of when COVID hit, there was just like some weird shit happening at the school that I was not in alignment with. And it was like the universe aligned, and we ended up moving, and it was like perfect excuse, perfect reason to start homeschooling the kids. And then we did, and I did it, and of course I had moments, and the kids had moments, and then there was beautiful moments of, I don't know if you've ever been around, it's like if you were able to see when your baby said their first words or took their first steps or crawled for the first time, if you were blessed to be there for those moments. Well, I definitely was there for lots of those moments, but also as my kids have been getting bigger and homeschooling them, it was like I'm there for those epiphany moments of when they just understand or they get something, and it's so powerful. It's been such a gift. I'm picking up my microphone because I'm hunched over. My mic is being funny. And I've had so many of those moments. I feel so grateful. Like Jack is my favorite. He's my 8-year-old, and just being able to be present when he is learning how to add numbers together, and also for the same thing when was learning how to add numbers together, and then he's throwing his head back and Jack has like, he doesn't have like an in between like volume. He has like full freaking like maxed out volume. He's super loud. And there's lots of moments like that. And that's funny because I love that my mind is really highlighting that, and my mind is allowing me to access that, because mostly we have this like negativity bias in our brain. Our brain likes to be negative. Naturally, it's the way most humans are wired, is having that negativity bias. So I'm so grateful. And it just shows that through many practices like gratitude practice, and that's something that I did with my kids, that I wish that I could reach out to the school, and maybe I will, to do a gratitude practice, because a lot of people will have a gratitude practice when Thanksgiving comes around, which, can you freaking believe it, that it is, it's September. It is September, which is my favorite season is coming, which is fall or autumn. I always have called it fall, and recently I've embraced the word autumn. I love the name autumn. It's beautiful. It's coming. It's this beautiful month of transformation and change and shifting and transitioning of colors, and fall resonates with my soul. I love the cool, crisp mornings. I love layering up. It gives me goosebumps. I love pumpkin drinks, and I'm so grateful. I'm not like a huge like coffee drinker. I've been like off and on drinking coffee. Rex and I stopped drinking coffee. I'm trying to think of when he got his gallbladder removed, which I don't even know when that was, like 6 years ago. completely cut coffee out because he doesn't have this like second filter. So we stopped. And then he just recently started drinking it again, and he takes medicine. He takes a daily omeprazole, which I don't agree with, but it's his body. And I just have to, after 20 years, I have to let him do what he's going to do with his body. It's his body. But I don't get that response to coffee. And I don't want to be reliant on coffee, but hello, fall flavored drinks are here. And it was so funny. I was telling Rex that I took the kids to, we have a Ziggy's in town, and I like to go to Ziggy's every once in a while, and they have a pumpkin spice latte that you can get with coconut milk and sugar free with no whip, because I do cheese like once a week, sometimes twice a week. I've been actually liking cheese a lot. I think I'm like hyping myself up because we're actually going to Wisconsin next week, and we're going to Cheese Days. And with that said, I am going to let you know that this is going to be the last episode of season 1. And then my next episode is going to be season 2. I don't really think I'm going to take a break because I love doing this, and I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing and keep showing up. But this is the last episode of season 1. And yeah, we're going to Cheese Days, which is this every 4 years. My husband's, I think it's his hometown or it's Greene County, has Cheese Days, and it's this huge deal, and it's all around cheese. So I feel like I have been amping up my cheese. So anyways, back to my fall story. You know how I am. I like to tell the stories. Sidetrack. That's how the minds work. But I had this delicious pumpkin spice latte. It had all of my dietary like needs. And then my husband comes home, and I told him, and I was so excited about it. He's like, "Oh, you're so basic. You're so basic because you like pumpkin." I'm like, huh? How is pumpkin basic? What? And then I guess then, okay, thank you. Yes, I'm basic because I really do feel like pumpkin is such like an embodiment, like the flavors of fall. And I mean, yes, apples can be too, but apples are available all year round. And I guess that's probably part of the problem with our system, is that there is apples that are being farmed all year long in different spaces and regions. But I love these pumpkin-y drinks, and I love the colors. And I live up in Estes Park, and it's definitely getting colder. Like, we wake up in our house and we have one of those whole house fans, and it's like 60 degrees. We don't have air conditioning, but we have this house fan that like sucks all the cold. And by the end of the day, yeah, it's probably like 70, 75, but it was like 88, and the hottest our house got was 75 because we have it like locked and loaded of how you close all the front windows, you close all of the windows, and you trap in that cool air, and you totally keep that cool air running. It would not be a life unless there was some weird challenges or technical difficulties. I feel like lately, every time I like try to get in the mode of like doing my work stuff, I keep having like these massive and colossal freaking like things that just happen. Like, my computer died because the battery's low. I'm like hiding in my recording studio, aka my lovely closet. And then the computer's making all these sounds, and the kids are out there, and it's fine. And and I'm like coming back to growing, and I feel like the universe is like keeps giving me all of these challenges and these like hard times that I have to keep showing up for. Like, do you get that? Do you like have these moments in your life where you're just like, what the fuck? Have you ever had those days where you just feel like you have no idea what you're doing with your life? And you really have these like really big aspirations and these really big dreams. And then it's like daily life happens, and then we show up and it almost thwarts us. Like, I've been talking to my sister. We were just talking yesterday about this, about like when she wakes up in the morning, she feels like she has this plan to do this awesome morning. And then her kids are just like a horrible wrecking mess, and everyone's freaking out. And her kids are like, her son was filling up like an entire like 2-inch tall by 3-inch wide container full of chocolate chips. And she's like, no, Stratton, like, you're not eating a whole thing of chocolate chips. And he's like, you're so mean. I'm in 8th grade. I can eat whatever I want. And she's like, no, you can't. But it's like in those mornings, I have been making myself wake up at 5:50, which I used to wake up for 4 years straight. I woke up between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning every morning. And then when COVID hit, I literally just gave myself permission to sleep because I felt like I was in this like hibernating mode. And now I'm feeling like, okay, Shelly, you wrote it in your book, Awaken You. Like, you need to wake up and take time for you in the morning. So I have been. In the mornings I do, it's so great. But then, right, like yesterday, 5:50, I set my alarm. It's like 6:10. I've done my meditation. I'm like journaling my gratefuls. And then Jack wakes up, and then Jasper barks and wakes up the puppy. Those are those mornings where it's like, exhale. And how are we showing up to life? How are we showing up? Maybe like this morning, I only got maybe like a 20-minute yoga practice in. Yeah, I wanted a fucking hour. I wanted to take a whole hour to do my practice and move my body and feel really healthy. But life called and shifted, and my kids woke up, and there were things and dogs and feeding, and we have this puppy, and it's so funny. It's almost like I secretly self-sabotage myself because we'd finally trained Jasper, who is almost 2, our golden doodle, who is the daddy of Luna. Luna is our puppy, if you've been listening. And she's almost 11 weeks old. She's a little puppy. She's Jasper's baby. And it was like we had Jasper all the way trained, and he's been doing awesome. Like, he's a really good dog. Like, he can be off leash, and you call him. We have a training collar that vibrates, and he just will answer and come. And he's such a good dog. And now we have a freaking puppy, and it's like having a baby again. And Junie said that this was her dog because we're training her to be a service dog. But here's what happens when when a 12-year-old says that they're going to do something. I'm learning. Like, I was 12 once many years ago, many of moons ago, but now I'm learning that 12-year-olds are very feisty and very emotional. And if you didn't hear that my daughter got her first period, which I'm like looking at the clock, and she's like supposed to be getting her next period, and I don't know if it will come. I don't know if it'll be regular. I've heard a lot of girls getting their first period and then it maybe taking a few months to get the next one, or we'll just see how it goes. Like, she eats pretty healthy. We don't eat unorganic meat. Unorganic meat has a lot of hormones in it, and those hormones are just sending kids' systems off whack and creating a whole slew of problems inside girls' bodies. So Junie, luckily, like, I got a huge awareness to the food that we were eating, I think probably 10 years ago. Yeah. So 10 years, most of my kid Milo's whole life, and Junie's most of her life. Like, I've actually had awareness to what I'm putting in their bodies, which is huge because I literally grew up and it was like a fantastic week if we went to Sam's Club and got this giant box of corn chips. And I remember they were like $3.49. It was like under $4 for this huge bag of corn tortilla chips. And they were the circle round ones. And then we would get a whole giant can full of that like gross processed yellow cheese, that you get at like a fair or maybe the movie theater. They just like heat it up and squeeze it on. That would be me and my sister's food source for like 2 weeks. Like, we would eat that, and we'd probably eat it in a week, and then it was like we were hibernating bears. And like, that was our food. And I did not grow up like understanding nutrition or realizing the value in what we eat is like what becomes us. And so my kids really have, and I see it. And even though like they love donuts, and yeah, I take them to get them a Ziggy's treat, which is really probably not that good for you, but I always say, like, in moderation. Like, we have to live our lives, and we also need to be aware. So it's like finding that balance between like enjoying ourselves and like still having the freaking gluten-free pizza with the cheese on it that's really good. And I love to make this like delicious Caesar salad, and I like to sprinkle the Caesar salad on top of the gluten-free lots of cheesy pizza, and like having that. And then, yeah, the next day I'll wake up and be like, yeah, I'm feeling really congested in my chest, and like I'm feeling a little fluffy today. And I realize that in some of those moments, it's like, okay, I feel like life is about finding freaking balance between being so in control of everything, which is something I feel like that most women do. Most moms do. Like I say, I'm like a recovering control freak. I am recovering. I do my best to show up. And it's something my husband and I get in fights about. And it's like, dude, you know me. I am a mom. If you are not in control of your fucking kids and your household, like, what are you in control of? Like, we have to take the reins of what we can. And so for me, yeah, I am a control freak mama. I am a control freak about my house because this is my house. I live here and I am, yeah, I am like mostly a stay-at-home mom and I have big dreams and goals and I write books and I do lots of things, but this is where I stay. This is where I reside. This is where I live. This is where we raise our kids. So yeah, I am in control of this house and I do sometimes freak out like at least once a day, like with messes. And it's been such an interesting transition with my boys being at school because my boys were at school. They were at school for like a whole week. And then Milo got this injury on his hip last week. And I was like, oh, shoot. I was doing all this research, of course. I like fell into the Google and kids have like growth plates along their joints. And I was looking and it was like looking like a fractured growth plate. I'm like, okay, I'm prepared if he has a fractured growth plate. Long story short, all kids were home from school. And then we went and confirmed that there was not a fractured growth plate, which was huge. And we saw a chiropractor, which I was kind of like a little bit in the middle. But I'm definitely more of a fan of alternative medicine. Like, please, alternative medicine, like I will do all the things from the earth first and like see what I need. And then I will last minute resort. Like if I need Western medicine, I can reach for that, but I'm not like going first. But when the kids were all home, the house, it is like, you know this, they are just like trashers. And my kids are big. Like Junie, I can't even like believe I'm saying this. She's almost 13, 10, and 8. They are still not aware of the messes that they are making. And to me, it transmutes into anxiety because I feel out of control. Do you get that way when your home is out of control? I really encourage you. I feel like the message here is to just be aware of your living space and how it's feeling. Like I was feeling like the energy in my bedroom was feeling a little bit weird and wishy-washy. Rex and I have been like, we like do great. And then we have these like huge blow-ups. But I feel like lately we've been doing so much heart healing. And I really feel like for me, like I'm really seeing this kind of more, this energetic spiritual healing with him that like I have led a lot of our relationship through judgment and I judge him hard. And it's hard to even admit it or say it out loud because I probably wouldn't even say it to him, but maybe I would because we are communicating with each other now. But I judge him hard and I don't even know that I'm doing it. And then I like will catch myself in these moments of like judging him and like if he has drinks after work or is drinking at home and I'm not drinking. And then I think it's like this trigger because he grew up with an alcoholic dad, an alcoholic stepfather, and never knew his birth father. And I just feel like it triggers me and like, oh my gosh, like you don't want to be an alcoholic. And he's not at all an alcoholic, but he likes to have drinks. And I used to have drinks all the time with him. Like we used to have drinks like 7 nights a week. We used to spend like $600 a month on booze and beer. I'm not even kidding you. That's not overreacting, over exaggerating. Like we did that. And then I took my yoga teacher training, my first 200-hour one, almost 5 years ago. And there was this like whole part in, I think in the Yoga Sutras, which I'm actually rediving into right now in my 300 hours, because I am always growing, that just being clear of the mind and like lifting the veil, because alcohol or drugs or even our caffeine, our coffee, that yummy pumpkin drink, it's creating this veil between us and our spirit and the actual reality of this present moment, because we are all so trained to be filled full of all of the things. And like I said, if we can come back to allowing ourselves and allowing our children permission to be bored, to just be. What if you just, when you were bored, instead of being like, oh, I'm so bored, or when the kids are bored, it's like, why don't you go outside and notice what is around you? Why don't you just look and see and be present and show up for what this moment is. And it's so interesting in those moments of full presence, of when we can be totally submerged in the moment. And I feel like the best way, my beautiful soul sisters, to get to that space of presence is to be in nature, to be outside. Get your shoes off, put your bare feet in the earth. This new puppy, I will say, like, has been a great challenge. It's like having this toddler, this newborn baby. But oh my gosh, I just love her. And it's really like it's filling up my womb because I've off and on had these thoughts of like, oh, maybe we should have a fourth. Should we have a fourth? Okay, I'm almost 40. It's like, probably not. I made this agreement with the universe. I don't know if I've told this story or not, but it was a year ago. And my girlfriend, my soul sister, Jess, and I were sitting at the soccer fields while the boys were playing soccer and Junie was playing soccer. And I told her, I was like, I made this agreement with the universe that said, universe, if I need to be a parent of one more soul, if there's one more soul who needs me to guide them in this life, like, please bring it to me before my 40th birthday. But let's like make this snap. Remember how manifestation works? Do you know how manifestation works? So manifestation works when we are so clear on what it is that we want. Okay, you have to be crystal clear. You have to be like tuned in to what it is that you want. Not like putting out all of these like maybe yes, maybe no, blah, 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 blah. You have to be so sure, and then you have to feel it as if it's already here. Like you feel it, you experience it. Oh my gosh, it's already here. And then the universe will bring it on divine timing, not on our timing, when the universe thinks that it is the exact right timing. But if we are sending all of these mixed signals, if we're sending like a million billion thoughts out in every direction, then we're not going to manifest it because the universe doesn't know. The universe doesn't know what we're asking for. The universe is like, I'm just as confused as you are. So when I put this vibe out, I was like, okay. But then we looked into getting a vasectomy reversal for my husband, obviously not me. And it was like 10 grand. And we're like, we're good. We're going to not spend 10 grand and we're going to get a puppy. So we got Jasper. It was like rewinding last winter. And then now we have another puppy. And it's like, okay. So the universe did provide and bring another soul, this beautiful puppy, Luna Rose. And she is just this like creamy, milky with these like golden, ambery undertones and just such a pure spirit. And like she is so much love. And I totally treat her like a baby in moments. And then in moments I'm like, what? And it is such this allowing of me to be present. And so how we can be present, how we can teach our kids to be present is to get out in nature. Use your sensory perspectives. No, sometimes the words don't come, right? You know that. Your sensory perceptions, like feel your feet onto the earth. Connect your roots into the earth. I have had a meditation practice for almost 9 years and I have no problem. I can connect to the cosmos, the universe, but I've had a problem with I just want to float off in the ethers and I don't want to be here. And then I have to remind myself I'm on this planet for a reason. And so this practice, this grounding, earthing practice of getting outside and connecting to the earth, because to be like this balanced spiritual person, we want to be connected to the cosmos, to the universe, to love, to life, to God, whatever it is that resonates with you. And we also equally want to be connected with Mother Earth and this beautiful planet, Gaia, whatever resonates. And really just being barefooted, touching a tree, hugging a tree. Like really, really. You probably heard me talk about hugging trees. I've been hugging trees ever since I went to this big women's retreat a few months ago. Really, have you hugged a tree? Have you stopped? Or have you like acknowledged the trees around you? I've been doing this practice like at least once a day. Sometimes I skip it, I'm sure, where I am just so aware of the energy around me and feeling that love and that support and the joy from nature. Like it is everywhere. And even if you live in a big city, there are trees or there is sky. No matter if you live in New York City, downtown New York City, probably there's buildings above you. Look up at the sky or get a plant, get something from the earth to help bring you back and remind you of the energy of the earth. And really that can bring us into this moment. And then when we're in this moment, we can claim more of our life. And this is interesting because I'm like talking to my daughter a lot lately about being in control of herself and her emotions, because she's getting ready to turn 13 and she has so many emotions that are just like exploding. And already being on the spectrum, like she feels big. She's always had like sensory perspective things. And today we I was like asking her to do a simple thing. I asked her to clean her room, and then I go in her room, and then I was like, "Oh, Junior's looking great." Like many conversations later, and then I saw like two things that she needed to do. And then I was like, "Okay, I see that." And I actually was being nice. I'm like, I'm just going to vacuum the floor for her." And I thought, I wonder why Junie doesn't do the things that I ask her to do. Like, why doesn't she do it? Like, she just ignores me, which my boys do the same freaking thing. Like, kids just need this, like, reminder. And then I go in the kitchen, and it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and her dishes, part of the dishes are still in the sink and are in the dishwasher. And I look, and she's actually cooking herself this, like, yummy vegetable soup. Like, she's had, like, this little sore throat, and she's not at her 100%, which I'm like not trying to be super hard on her, but like being the control freak, right? That I'm not trying to claim that as my own, but right, I see my house, I'm like, it's 10:30 and the kitchen is getting messy and I need to clean it up. And so I just told her, she's cooking her soup, and I say, Junie, I just want to let you know what's going through my mind right now. So I go through the whole scenario. Like, I'm thinking, why are you not doing these things? And then I go in the kitchen, and then she just starts bawling, like, well, and just crying. And then she's like yelling at me that I'm going to make her have sad soup, because we were talking all about, from one of my other soul sisters was telling me all about, like the energy that we're putting into the food that we're cooking is the energy that we're putting into our body. So if we're putting out sadness or anger or overwhelm or whatever, like that energy is also coming within us. And so she of course, like, she is just such a spiritual little sprite, and she's like, well, it's gonna be so sad and taste disgusting. I'm like, okay, Junie, you need to get a control of yourself. Like, you got to figure this out, how we can talk. Like, I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm just trying to bring your awareness to the things around us and how I can help you. And then Luna wakes up from her nap, and I hear her. And of course, I go to take Luna out, which is fine. Like, whatever. I have embraced that I really am here to help take care of Luna. Junie's not going to 100% do it like I thought in my mind. My mind was like, yes, this is Junie's dog. She's got this. No, she needs more structure. She needs help. And again, that control freak factor, it's really helpful in a lot of experiences like this one. And so I go outside, and then Junie comes out just bursting and crying and just sobbing, and her nose is literally dripping down her face, and she does this thing where she like drools, and it like drools down into her leg, and she's just like uncontrollable, like inconsolable and uncontrollable, and I don't even know what to do. And yes, I give her compassion and I give her love. And then there's these moments where I just get so frustrated. And I'm like, Junie, I literally was just telling you what I was thinking. I'm really working with her on being more like clear and transparent and saying what it is that you want. Say what you want. Don't tell me what you don't want. Because again, coming back to manifestation, and Junie knows this, what we put out in the universe is what comes back to us. And that goes for the things that we're thinking, we're saying, and we're acting on. So Junie is so open, and she knows this. Like, she knows this, but like, we all know things that are good for us. Why do we not always do the things that are good for us? Probably because it's easy, or on the flip, it's probably really freaking hard. And we just like, we don't feel like we have the will or the strength or the power to do it. And so Junie's outside sobbing. The puppies are down. We have these really tall, like 15 stairs that go up, and she's sitting at the top and I'm at the bottom. I just like start walking towards her and saying, excuse me, once again, that Junie, you have to learn how to speak clear and concise of what you want, not what you don't want. And like, we need to work together. We are a team. We're a team. We're on the same side. I'm not here, like, you're homeschooling with me. Like, we are in this life together. Hello. And then she just starts sobbing again and saying that my brain doesn't work like yours. You know that. I need reminders. And she totally, not just because she's on the spectrum, because I notice it in my sons too, who are not on the spectrum, but even more so for her. She is a freaking fixator. I mean, probably because of that spectrum portion. She just fixates on the same thing over and over, over and over, over and over. And she just needs like that confirmation. She needs like that information just pushed at her. And sometimes I'm really patient with the fixation, and other times I freak out because it's really hard to be really patient when I've just said the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And then I was doing my best to be calm, probably not the most calm, but doing my best in that moment, showing up, smelling the air, being present, and feeling all of those elevated emotions. And again, I've really been working on not being an empath. For the empaths out there, we need to remind ourselves in these moments, especially with our closest loved ones, especially our partner, our kids, that we are putting up that love and that compassion shield, and we're not taking on their shit. We're not taking on all of their sadness, all of the anger, because it's easy to do, especially when you're in these relationships with your spouse or partner, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, that we have to put up that. I really have been resonating with like this love shield that I can just put love up. Like, I see you, I see what you're experiencing. I understand it, but I don't have to take it on. And then I did in that moment have to like come back. And it's like, I'll always remember when Junie was 3 and her first occupational therapist said that you never want to treat a special needs kid different from other kids, because then they'll always expect different treatment. And I really took that to heart. But at the same time, like, hello, let's be realistic and honest here. Like, I have in ways treated her different because I am here to support her and nurture her and keep her safe. Because I know it is a big, crazy, scary world out there. And I know I can't protect her from fucking everything. And it's really hard for me to let go of a lot of things. But there are some things that I'm like, I am here to help you. And so then after we both calm down, which we are really good at this, like we have such this awesome relationship that we can both be so frustrated or so pissed or so angry at each other. And then Junie and me both, it's kind of like on our own timings. It's like, okay, we need a minute. Like, we need a minute to chill out, or 15 minutes or whatever. But Junie's more of like 10-minute kind of processor. And then she's like, okay, I'm so sorry. I can see the way that I was responding was not very kind. And then she starts bawling in. And we always do this, like, I forgive you. Do you forgive me? Of course I forgive you. I forgive you. I'm letting that go. I'm not holding on to that. I forgive you. Now, after we like process that forgiveness, which Junie is like so amazing. How many 12-year-olds do you know that can go through this whole cycle of like anger and crazy fixation and blah, 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 all the things, to like she turns it around, and then she can like see and reflect, and then she can be with it, and then it's like we're allowing, and then we're moving forward, and then we're like going forward with, okay, well, what can we do? Well, last week I ordered this awesome calendar, which it's been taking forever, which we have to remember, everything comes on the right timing, even Amazon, when you're like, okay, geez, Jeff Bezos, you said 2 days, and it's been like freaking 7. Patience, trust and patience, trust and patience, all things, even when it comes to online shopping, and when it comes to manifesting our future and the dream life that we desire, the dream home, the dream car, the dream partner, the dream career, whatever it is, that everything comes on divine timing. And so I know that divinely, that this calendar, or this, it's kind of like a calendar, and then I got like a to-do list it's going to show up. And Junie really did remind me, and like my lesson, my medicine from Junie and that disruption and feeling all that yucky energy, then we ended with love. And it was like love, and we hug heart to heart, which, if you know this, heart to heart is when you go right side to right side. It is like a direct energetic link straight to the hearts. And it's interesting because in society, especially America, like where I live in Colorado, people always veer hugs to the left. It's always a left-sided hug. I don't know why it is or where it came from. Maybe it's because we are afraid of that heart connection, and maybe we're not, as trustworthy of that heart connection. But you go hug heart to heart. And then I remembered that I bought a stack of Post-its. And then I said, well, Junie, Like, what is stopping you from when I'm asking you to do the things and you're not doing them? And she said, well, because I just forget. I'm like, well, how do you forget? Because you're choosing to forget. So how can you remind yourself to actually do what I'm asking you to do? And I feel like for me, another lesson is because sometimes I get overwhelmed with all of my load and all the things. And sometimes I do you ever do that? You just like freeze. And instead of doing one thing or 17 things, you do nothing because it's like that overwhelm just takes over. And I know with Junie's mind and how it works, I think that there's this part of her brain where it's like all of the information comes in and then it's like this sensory overload. So she just freezes or she just floats off and does what she wants to do, which is great. And I support and nurture that. But girl, there are things that we have to get done. Like, I know I want to float off in the ethers and do whatever I want to do all the time, but we have to come back here. We have to like be here and show up and do the things. Like, I am being like very flexible to what she wants to learn this year and nurturing her baking and her spiritual practice. And she is like an incredible oracle and tarot card reader, which I'm saying that, and I would love to have her on the show to do a reading. Like, she's so in tune and just like she's so connected. But we also like we have our spelling and we are working on reading and we are working on our math and other things. So it's like we have to find balance between all of that stuff. And then it's so funny. I like myself feel like sometimes a failure when I've done all the things in the morning and held space, like, you know, that emotional space for kids if you're a mom. Like, it's so fucking much, not just the messes, but like the emotional, energetic space for our kids, these kids who chose us to be their parents, and that all of these crazy experiences with them are these opportunities to break these karmic loops. And just notice, be aware just how you are with your spouse. That if there is an emotion or an argument or this weird energy that keeps coming up between you and this person in different ways, that is because karma is coming back to you again and saying, okay, how are you going to shift this? How are you going to break and spiral this loop up and shift the energy and heal the energy with this person? Because know that things are not just a coincidence. Some things may be that beautiful serendipitous, but karma, like this samsara in Sanskrit, our karma is linked to this life, to many past lives. And our samsara that we house with others, even maybe someone who helps you wash your car, you see them out the window and they're like waving you in, making your tires go to the right or to the left a little bit, and you can feel this weird energy connection with them. You look that person in the eye and maybe send them or just hold space for that awkward, weird energy. Because I really do feel like our spirits come in contact with people that we need to. And of course, obviously, our everyday people, like our kids, like there is going to be a lot of energy. And like Milo, my middle, I think he's my oldest because he acts like that, but he's 10. He's my middle. I feel this energy, like I haven't confirmed it yet, but I'm really excited because the end of this month, I'm going to do this kind of psychic, intuitive body energy healing work with this incredible women that I work with at the Hive, Soul Sisters Collective. And we're going to find out some things, which I don't need to find out all about my past life, but Milo, I do get this energy that he was maybe like this like father figure for me, or this male energy, because we have this like weird push and pull, like fighty, like we get super annoyed at each other, but then we freaking love each other so much. Like so much. Like he will just act like a sweet little baby sometimes, and then others he acts like a total bratty like teenager, even though he's 10. And it's like, what is happening right now? Like he will resist me, and anything that I will say to him, he will say it back to me in like a smart alecky tone, and I'm like, Like, I almost hate that thing of like, I'm an adult, you are a kid, and you will just listen to me. I like hate that, but I totally pull that card sometimes. And then I have to like step back. I'm like, okay, no, it's not that you just don't talk to me like that, but you don't talk to other humans like that. You don't treat people like that. And I say that so much. And I think I learned that from a lot of life lessons. But I always remember the movie Matilda. Did you ever see that movie with the little girl who had like beautiful psychic powers, and she had the crappy shit parents who didn't ever acknowledge her? And her dad would be like, when an adult tells you something, or no, when he said, when a person tells you something. And then she was like, oh yeah, I like learned that from her. It was like, okay, Matilda, thank you for that. It was like one of those beautiful stories that you actually see on the screen. But it's like, I want to be equal with my kids. I want to give them opportunities to like grow and learn their own lessons and fail, which it's like sometimes like we do. That is so hard for me. Is that hard for you? It's so hard the older my kids get to like allow them to fail. And I notice that control freak coming up. It's like when she comes up, I'm like, okay, girl, you have to just back off. And I've been seeing it a lot at night because I definitely get these like nighttime anxiety, which I've shared with you before, where like if my kids are not in bed, like asleep by like 8 to 8:30, I like am like the message of, you are a bad mom. Your kids are not going to get enough sleep. They're going to be those purple eye kids. They're going to have a terrible day and it's going to be your fault. And then I have noticed that coming up and I'm being more flexible. Like if it's 9 o'clock and my kids are in bed on a school night, I am panicking a little bit, but I'm really holding space and I'm creating space around it to just know like, okay, I am doing the best that I can and every day is different. And I'm really trying to like honor this beautiful word and the vibration of being flexible, because control freaks, as we know, that being flexible can be really hard for us. It can be really hard for us. So many things. That was a lot of ranting and good stuff. And thank you. I love this space. I love showing up here. I just feel like I'm talking to my soul sisters, which I am. And oh, my beautiful souls, I'm here. I'm holding space for you and maybe your inner control freak. And I'm holding space for the karmic crazies that happen in your life between your spouse and maybe your kids or your parental figures. It was interesting this morning. I pulled a card from that beautiful Rose Oracle deck that is the most powerful card I've worked with. I get like goosebumps every time I use it. And one of them was saying that I am having a calling to heal ancestral parent lines. And I'm like, okay. Because I know that in this realm, I have healed a lot of things with the mother parental figure by like breaking ties and creating this boundary of, I can no longer have you in my life because I really do. I feel more free without her in my life. I feel more grounded and rooted. And I feel like I've broken this huge toxic loop of being in the shame and this guilt and this feeling like gross and negativity to, I shifted that by like being authentic, speaking my truth, shifting that. And I shifted a lot of energy with my dad, but I do feel like I'm being called to this like ancestral deep. And maybe that is going to be a part of my work that I'm going to do, this spiritual energetic work, which is all about growing, right? I feel like I started this episode talking about growth, and we are always growing. We're always shifting and we're always evolving. And knowing that, especially when challenges and tribulations come up, why do they come up? It's because we're probably growing or changing and we are resisting it. Like innately, that negativity bias comes out. So we need to just like hold space for ourselves, be with the discomfort. Like when that inner control freak is like, oh my gosh, my house is a mess, or whatever it is, my kids are being crazy, I have no control, you're fixating, my spouse is, whatever it is, like there's always shit that's coming up. No matter what, if it's like the bills or taking a vacation or we're having financial struggles, that we must hold space for ourselves. When our inner voice is telling us we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we don't have what it takes, you freaking hold space for that. And really, I feel like my new thing that I'm going to be doing to like not honor, but to move through overwhelm is action. So when I'm feeling overwhelmed or anxious, I'm going to counter that with action. So that, my beautiful soul sisters, is our self-care practice of this week, is to combat overwhelm with action. What does that mean? That means you're going to do something. So whether it's even going for a walk to move that stagnant, overwhelmed, anxious energy, or maybe it's doing 10 jumping jacks, or even, yes, I have been known to just in my bathroom when I'm feeling like, I will literally do 50 squats in front of the mirror. And I will exhale and kind of raise my arms like a starfish with my legs wide open, squat my butt back, and then inhale, kind of pelvic thrust, bring my fists down by my side. Exhale. And I will do that 50 times because that is an action. And even if it's just moving your body, you're moving that energy. Or the self-doubt is saying, oh my gosh, nothing is in control. I'm feeling crazy. Look around at your living space. What is it looking like? What is it feeling like? Go freaking do those dishes in the sink. Go wipe up the counter. Go move the toaster oven, take out the crumbs and freaking spray them off. The other day, I was feeling so overwhelmed with my kids and boys and like, the Tupperware fiasco where it's like you never have the lids that you need for the Tupperware. Is that just me or is that everyone? I feel like it's everyone. My sisters do that too. Is that you? Leave me notes. Please tell me. Tell me, am I the only one? I don't think I am. And I was feeling so overwhelmed. And then I dropped the boys off at school and I came home and I was like, I am going to organize that cabinet because it makes me feel so overwhelmed. And by physically putting the energy into your space, I literally pulled everything out and I spent 45 minutes of my free time to wipe out, to organize. I put all of the water bottles in one basket with the lids on them, and I put them all in one basket. And then I put all of the otter cups, the coffee to go cups in one with the lids on them. And then I pulled all of the Tupperware out and I arranged the circles. I got my control fix on by putting the rectangles with the rectangles, and I did that. And then I put it back. I put everything back and tidy, and I was like, whew, I could feel the energy shifting because I was like, I moved through that. It was like, okay. And when we can start, I feel like getting in control of our house, we can get in control of our mind and our body. So notice that. Notice how your house is feeling. And again, maybe this is self-care practice too. Another rant. I love these rants. It's like, I feel inspired to talk about this, that we have to take the reins of our home. How is it feeling in your sleep space? Like the energy in my sleep space, off and on, I feel like I get these different energies. And my husband does drink. And knowing that if you drink in a home or play video games where people are killed or watch horror movies, that we open kind of this spiritual portal for an opening, like legit, like in the spiritual realm, take it or leave it. I really resonate with that. And my husband does drink. And even though my kids don't play games where people die, but Rex will occasionally watch a horror movie. Like we have some weird shit happening in my bedroom. So I am always making sure it's clean. Like I do like a 5 to 10 minute cleanup every day. I organize my shit. I get everything where I want it to be. I make my bed with excellence. And Jack just moved into our room like a week and a half ago, which has been so sweet because I just like love him and I've been like longing to snuggle him. And he's, I think, going to school for him. It's like he's feeling like separation, and I'm like been battling with those feelings of like abandonment. I'm freaking holding space for it. And I made Jack come in my room today because he's like has a cold and he might be on the tail end of it and going back tomorrow. And I was making my bed. He goes, Mom, I'm going to make my bed perfect, just like you make yours. And I said, buddy, it's not that I make my bed perfect every day, but I just make my bed the best that I can do. I just do my best job every day. So he was like, okay, well, I'm making my bed the best I can today. I'm like, well, that's all you need to do. Just do your freaking best. Do your best, and it will look good and it will reflect it. And then I vacuumed my floors and I did a little energy clearing. I opened the windows. I opened the sun. I brought the sun in, like any weird energies in my room, I just, with energy work, with intention, any energies, stagnant energies in here, I cleanse and clear, and I replace this energy with clear energy. So just taking a note of how you're feeling in your living space, especially your sleeping space. I feel like if there's like one room you could get the reins on, it would be your sleep space. Like get in control of where you sleep, where you slumber, where you recharge your energy, where you spend 1/3 of your life. Some people up to, they say 26 years of like an 80 to 90 year lifespan we spend sleeping. So get in control of that energy. And once you get in control of the physical space, your mind follows. And it's like, I'm in control of my thoughts. I'm in control of my day. Notice that. And then once you move from your bedroom, maybe, girl, you go into that kitchen where we cook and clean, where we do all of the things. Then you get in control of your kitchen. And then you do it every day. If you show up every day, it's not such a huge, huge thing. But if we just like let it pile up and then it's like 2 hours of work, that's hard. Okay. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. And my beautiful soul sisters, I love this space. And I have an email account that I have created called Awaken You, Shelly Bond. Please reach out to me. Tell me how it's going with you. Tell me what you want to hear about. I love Q&As. I love Q&As on podcast, which is questions and answers. And if you have any questions or ponderings, or if you have any experiences you want to share with me, please reach out. You can email me or you can direct message me also on Facebook, and that's just Shelly Bond, or also Instagram under Awaken You Shelly Bond. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to hear just what you want to talk about, or do you have any questions about pondering that you would like me to ponder with you, my beautiful soul sister? Please, at my Awaken You Shelly Bond at gmail.com. You can also find Awaken You Shelly Bond on Amazon, my beautiful book that actually, for real, legitimately, the freaking audiobook is like creeping up close. Like, it's been taking so much longer than I have anticipated, but it's, once again, I have to remember that everything comes on divine timing. Please share this with anyone that you love. Please just know that I love you. I support you. I'm right here holding space for you, and really take the time and get in control of your space that you live in, you sleep in, to get more in control of how you're feeling and how you're thinking. I love you. I'm sending you a big hug and a kiss on the cheek, and I will be back here hanging out with you next week. Bye, my beauties.